It is hard to imagine any society, religion, or culture that doesn't have or appreciate music. In religion, music is a connecting force to the mind and spiritual world. Every culture practices music in some way, shape, or form, whether it is ritualistic or a disposition of thought. Throughout time, music has played a different role from culture to culture and from religion to religion. In 1889, a movement among the Native Americans called the Ghost Dance began. The Ghost Dance was a ceremony that would unite the living with the dead and fill the plains with buffaloes. During these ceremonies, people would gather in a circle, dance together, sing, and call upon the dead. The music was a key component. It was uplifting, and it was a way for the Native Americans to see their ancestors once again. During the late 1800s, Native American people had many rituals. One, which was the sun dance. The sun dance celebrated kinship, health, harvest, and hunting. People gathered in a circle around a tall pole called the wakan, which represented the axis mundi, the sacred center of the world. Attached to the pole were fishhooks that would be connected to the chest, and therefore it connected the body to the sacred power. Around the circle, people would sing and chant religious songs to make the connection even more sacred. In 1817, a Protestant school in Tennessee, the Brainerd School, was founded. Catherine Brown, a Cherokean convert, was sent to one of these schools and became the face of their success. These Brainerd schools' missions were to save the man and kill the savage. At these schools, they were taught Christianity and Christian hymns. These hymns were a way to connect the man with God. The later 1830s brought bad fate to the Cherokee. Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act forced the Cherokees to leave their land, and they faced hunger, disease, pure exhaustion, and as a result, more than 5,000 Cherokees died. During their forced removal, there was a comfort found in singing hymns. These hymns became a mash of Cherokee and Christian hymns. During this miserable time for the Cherokee, they found comfort in music. A well-educated Islamic slave from Guinea, Belai Muhammad, arrived in Sapelo, Georgia in 1802. He was lucky to get Thomas Spalding as his master because he allowed his slaves to practice religion openly and even allowed for a construction of a small mosque on the plantation. Muhammad wrote the Belai document, which was likely the first written Islamic text in the United States. This allowed for the practice of religion and a continuance of their culture. While music is not traditional, there was, and still is, a call to prayer at the beginning of a service that is sung. Even where music is not an essential part of religion, it is still found. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. From 1790 to 1830, the Second Great Awakening swept across America, spreading the idea that you could be reborn. To be reborn, one would attend a camp meeting or a revival. At these revivals and camp meetings, there was emotional preaching and what is referred to as a come to Jesus moment. You could become pure again, which was a new attitude the Second Great Awakening brought. At revivals, folk music with pulsating rhythms was played. The incorporating of music in revivals led to a new age of music and religion. Antebellum American slaves practiced their religion in secret at what is known as hush harbors. This is where the slaves practiced their religious traditions. These hush harbors were a blend of Christianity and African traditions that led to a unique folk religion, where the meetings were participatory with a centrality around preaching and music. The music was a way for slaves to remember their African traditions, and it allowed them to celebrate their religion even though it was in secret. The 1800s brought some hope to slaves with the establishment of the Underground Railroad. This was a way for slaves to go north and hopefully gain freedom. In order for slaves to have a successful trip, there was a unique musical and religious expression. Songs were musical maps, helping the slaves on how to get through the Underground Railroad. There were phrases in these songs like wade in the water, which would allow them not to be smelled by the dogs looking for them. Follow the drinking ground, which would mean follow the river until first quail call, which would mean you should reach Ohio in the winter. Left foot, peg foot referred to Peg Leg Joe, an old man waiting to help you to your freedom. There were many more messages that were repetitive, so slaves would know where to go. Wading in the water, wading in the water. The later 1800s brought a fusion of evangelical Protestantism with American institutions, which made the Catholic Church an enemy. This fusion was linked with the expanding of U.S. territories west. While there were no specific songs in this new hybridity of evangelical Protestantism with the American institutions, there were many new songs about expanding west. The West was unknown and exciting. The music was an outlet for the uncertainties of the West and manifest destiny.
Mexico, Wyoming, Arizona, and Colorado.
The early 1900s brought a new Hollywood way of practicing religion, thanks to Amy Semple McPherson, a Canadian Pentecostal. She founded her own Pentecostal church, Church of the Four Square Gospel, located in Los Angeles, California. Her Hollywood way of preaching led to more extravagant sermons where the songs sung in her church were more hip-hop than classic hymns. While this music was different, it was still accepted and practiced. Even today, there are church choirs that sing more like hip-hop songs than traditional hymns.
My Lord anymore, my Lord anymore, I ain't gonna grieve my Lord anymore, I ain't gonna grieve my Lord anymore.
Music is incorporated into religions in different aspects and has become more prevalent in society. It has become a big part of popular culture. And so, as time progresses, music will become even more common in religion.